Bums. Welcome to another installment of Bums Corner Coast to Coast. I am Mike Eshelman.
And I'm Tom Arnholt.
And this is the 29th episode of our show, and we're going to do something a little bit different. Last month in my issue of Rolling Stone, they had a top 50 TV shows of all time article. And immediately, as I was going through it, I thought, this will piss Arnold off to no end.
And right you were.
So, because it's such a huge list, we're going to break it in half. We'll do half this episode, half next episode. And if all works out, we'll still be able to squeeze in a Christmas special.
Huzzah!
Yes. And I will apologize up front. I'm dog sitting my daughter's dog. And apparently I've become allergic since last time I saw her. So if I go mute all of a sudden, it's because I'm blowing my nose or sneezing my eyeballs out of their sockets.
Isn't aging great? Like, you discover, like, all of a sudden, like, oh, yeah, after 50 years, you're allergic to this. Sorry.
Yeah. Well,
enjoy that.
I've been allergic to dogs all my life, but as long as I'm not like burying my face in their fur, it's fine. You know, it's no big deal. I can sit and pet them all day. But she was dropped off yesterday morning, and immediately, like, my nose is just gushing snot. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? So it's been a long couple days.
No doubt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, interesting.
Okay, overall, before we dig into this, as you read the list, what were your initial impressions?
My initial impression, I had two questions. Mm-hmm. How old was the person that created this list? And have they ever actually watched television? The
answer is, I don't know, and yes. So the list was made by 46 writers, producers, and critics that are involved in Rolling Stone or develop TV shows. Let me give you an example. Jude Apatow, you might have seen his work. David Cross, you've heard of him, I'm sure. Tony Hale, Chris Carter, the guy that made X-Files.
Yeah.
Joel McHale, the guy from Community. So it was a bunch of actors, and then you had some critics in there and Rolling Stone people. Now, the thing about Rolling Stone lists are, it's like a BuzzFeed list for them. It's like they almost create it to piss you off, you know?
That's a great fucking analogy, yeah.
Like, whenever, and I should know better, but every time they come out with, like, their top 500 albums of all time, I'll buy it. I'll be angry.
Yeah.
Until the next year. And like, God damn it, I just need to stop because they're trolls is what they are.
Yeah.
So it's like, here's the 490 best albums, and then 10 of them that we're going to put in the fuck with you.
Right. 10 because, we've been paid or we owe this guy.
So again, there's a lot of things in here I didn't agree with. Yes, I agree that some of them were just far-fetched, and some of them seem like fan service.
From 50 to 26, it doesn't bother me the stuff that's on here so much. It's a lot of it really overall is the stuff that's not on here, and I think we'll probably address that better next episode.
Yes. When we get to the top 10, then that's where my issues are.
Yeah, my big problems are 25 through number 1. However, there are some items on the 50 to 26 list that, why is this on here, or why isn't this higher on the list?
Yes. So, okay. Well, let's start off. The very last slot, number 50, they had Jeopardy.
In my opinion, totally deserves to be on this list.
Yep, I agree. And
Um,
honestly, I thought about like you just said, should it be higher? And I don't think so.
mhm.
I
No,
mean,
I think that's a respectable. Yeah, Jeopardy
yeah,
50. Sure,
yeah, okay,
I'm cool with that.
all right, one down. See, that wasn't so
Great,
bad, was it?
away we go.
All right, at 49, they have Friends. So again, not my cup of tea. I don't like that show, but I think as if you look at it not necessarily from quality but from cultural relevance,
Yeah,
maybe it could make the list.
right. And that's kind of where was looking at that. I'm like, yeah, you can't not have Friends. It did, as far as the whole ensemble cast thing goes, kind of
Yes,
reinvented that to some extent.
yes,
Um,
absolutely.
reinvented that as a genre. Um, obviously, a cultural impact. So yeah, it deserves it. I'm okay with
I'm
Friends.
glad it's not higher. It's at
Yeah,
the bottom of the list where it says we acknowledge that you existed, and that's all you get from us.
right. Thank you for your service.
Right. So okay. So after that is 48. The Shield.
I've never seen it.
Oh, come on,
I know what
dude.
it is. It was a cop show with the bald guy. That wasn't Kojak.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yes. That's how it was sold. Like, you want the
Yeah,
elevator pitch? It's
it's
a
like, all
cop
right,
show with a bald guy that's not Kojak.
yeah. Can we get Michael Chiklis? Of course. All right, I'm in.
All right, I'm in.
Yeah,
It was a rough show to watch. I mean, it was violent.
yeah.
Six
I've heard nothing but
seasons.
good things about it. I mean, it was very popular. What was it? 2000s? Like it was like 20 years ago, right?
It was 2002 to 2008.
Okay, I remember a lot of the folks I worked with were. It wasn't available at the time, overseas. It wasn't available on AFN at the time, so
Mm.
a lot of folks that I knew were like waiting, weekly to get the VHS sent to them from their mom or dad.
Oh my
Uh,
God.
yeah. Um, so yeah, and it was a very popular show. And
Okay.
I know just by virtue of the job that I had at the time, I was reporting on things, and entertainment wise, there was a lot of buzz about the show.
Right.
I have no point of reference. It was never on my list of okay. As soon as we get back, I'm watching the
Right.
fucking Shield. And eventually,
It was a hard
it
one.
did show up. It did show up on AFN a couple of years later.
Right.
And again, yeah, just like meh. No.
Yeah. I tried. Within the past year, I'd say I tried to rewatch it, but honestly, this was at the time it was somewhat cutting edge, like with that anti-hero, the negative cop aspect of it. But man,
A broken man trying to do the right thing
yeah, since
despite
'02,
not caring.
that's been done
Sorry.
so much. We have so
Yeah.
many anti-hero shows now.
Yeah.
And again, this one, the violence on this one was cranked up, which typically doesn't bother me. But man, they went for the jugular on the graphic scenes.
Yeah.
It's just shit that sells. I mean, I watched the hell out of this when it was on. So yeah, I agree. It like Friends. It's acknowledging its place. It was a good
Hmm.
show. It was very well done. They actually went out on their own terms. It wasn't canceled. So yeah,
Cool.
48's a solid spot.
Right on.
Mhm. So right ahead of that was My So-Called Life, which was a long show.
What's that?
It was only on for a year.
That's what I thought. It was Claire Danes.
Yeah, that was Claire Danes.
Didn't they just like pluck her off the street to, to do this? No. I think I may have watched a episode,
Yeah.
but I do recall the buzz around the show. And if I recall, there was not another show on TV at the time or prior that dealt head on with the angsty 90s teen.
Yes. Yes.
Um,
I
or you know,
yeah, I
go ahead. Sorry.
oh, I was gonna say I was about right where you were. I watched maybe 2 episodes of this,
Yeah.
but like female friends at the time, all of them watched this.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. Every one of them. Every
Yep.
one of them. Um, so I mean, yeah, obviously we were not the target demographic for this
We were not.
this
We were
production.
not.
But I mean, in some respects, it was, I guess, not. I don't know if groundbreaking is quite the right word, but like she had that gay friend that wore the eye makeup and was
Right.
like out in high school, and that was, oh my god. Whereas,
Oh
in
yeah.
reality, yeah, everybody knew the gay guy. Like he wasn't the only one in the United States. But it
Right.
was that group of people, that the fraction of the population had some representation on television, and so in that
Right.
respect, yeah, it was like, wow, cool.
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely. And again, this show was not written for me in any way, shape, or form, but um,
no,
I'm glad it got acknowledgement on their list. I mean, yeah, like you said, it wasn't groundbreaking necessarily, but it filled that niche. And
hmm
and again, like I didn't watch on a regular basis, but I think every female friend I had did. You
yeah,
cannot talk to a woman in our age group and ask them, "Have you seen this show?" None of them will answer no.
right, yeah, absolutely
So,
not.
okay, so this next one, I will admit I've never seen. 46, The West Wing.
Oh, I've seen it.
Yeah.
It was it was all right. I don't know if it's like one of the top 15 TV shows of all time.
Right.
Um, as far as TV shows that revolve or center upon the White House,
Hmm.
I don't know, did you ever watch Designated Survivor?
No.
Uh, to me, that was really good.
Right.
The idea is that during the State of the Union address, Congress, I mean, it gets blown up. Capitol Hill gets destroyed.
Oh,
So the
shit.
president, like everybody in government is gone, to
Right.
include the majority of the Supreme Court. And so, like, they've got the designated survivor dude that's like the one member of the cabinet that's like shuffled off to a hotel down the street,
Right.
whose job it is to assume the role of president in the event
Huh.
shit hits the fan, and shit hits the fan. And yeah, it's like he's like the like housing and urban development guy. He's a
Right.
total like total independent that actually, like, the morning prior was like kind of losing his job, and all of a sudden he's president. He's like, what?
Right.
And so he's got. It's a really good show. I really enjoyed it
How long was
because
that
there's
on?
a couple of years. It was,
Huh.
I think, on Fox for a couple of years, and I think maybe Netflix picked it up for the last season to wrap it up.
I'll be damned. Well,
And
I
it's
will have to
got that
track that
guy.
down.
Yeah,
According to Google, Kiefer Sutherland was in it.
mm-hmm. That's the
And
guy.
Maggie Q. Damn, I haven't seen her in a while. All right, so I guess
Yeah.
West Wing can have its little spot.
It can have its
Um,
spot. I mean, I don't know if there was a show like it prior to this.
right.
I can't think of another show prior to West Wing that centered around the events going on within the White House. So in that respect, yeah, all right.
Yeah.
And it was,
Okay.
again, I watched a few episodes. It was all right. I'm not mad at
Uh,
that.
there must have been something else in that time slot that I watched on a regular basis, but to each his own. All
Yeah,
right, so that brings us up to 45, Columbo.
absolutely.
It was a fun show, and again, we were way too young to catch this the first time around, but it was always
Yeah,
on in reruns.
right. And it's one of those shows that it's got legs. It stands
Yeah,
the test of time. I mean, it's
absolutely.
absolutely. Yeah, obviously the subject matter and the fashion and the whatnot might be outdated, but as a body of work, it's great. It's pure
Yes,
just detective work, and
absolutely.
he's brilliant detective.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
well, one more thing. I just got one more thing.
Yeah, and I love
God.
how he would always trip everybody up, and I guess that speaks to how much I think Law and Order owes that show. Not
Oh,
necessarily the character, but the structure. You
yeah.
watch Columbo, you know exactly what's going to happen 12 minutes into that show,
Oh, yeah.
40 minutes into that show. There was that consistent pattern, and I think that's what
Yeah.
made it so easily digestible. It's like,
It
all right,
was.
he's going to trip this guy up in something that I missed. I tugged hard on the red herring and wasn't
Hmm.
paying attention to that corner of the screen, and he's going to get us all.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Great. It was
solid
great.
choice.
Yeah. 45 is a good place for that, I think.
Yeah, I mean, and again, groundbreaking? Nah, not really. I mean, it
No,
was.
timeless entertainment, and it did kind of
Yeah,
it made an indelible mark on that cop show genre.
yes,
Um,
absolutely.
nothing
Well,
I've seen, nothing I've seen since has come close to recreating anything like that.
Monk, in a way, came close,
Yeah,
but not quite. It didn't capture that lightning in a bottle, but it was that same, you know, appearances only. It doesn't seem like this is the smartest guy in the room, but all of a sudden they just bam hit you.
yeah. Senator, I watched a couple episodes of Monk because I liked him as the cab driver on Wings, but I didn't. And it's like I found him really annoying as Monk.
Huh. I enjoyed the show, but again, it was that I don't. It's like television pound cake, like an episode of Monk. You always know what you're going to get, so it was very
Yeah.
satisfying. Yeah. All right, so right ahead of Columbo, we have Late Night with David Letterman at number 44.
Now, see, NBC or CBS, they don't differentiate.
Actually, in the Rolling Stones article, it's his stint from 92, is it 82 to 93.
Okay, so
So that would have been
that's
NBC.
the NBC run, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give it that. 44, sure. Maybe I would say that should be maybe a little higher.
I'll tell you what, and again, I think my problem with all of these lists are television has been around long enough that you need to differentiate, spread it out, the top 50 comedies or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So when you have a list like that's so broad, if you're going to pick one late night show, make it the best one. And I think by far Letterman.
Of all
You're probably thinking
time,
Carson.
I'm thinking Tonight Show in general would take the top spot for late night television simply because it has the longevity. It started
Right.
so. I mean, back with Parr, Jack Parr,
That sounds
whoever.
pretty good with it.
Yeah, back in the way before time, the Tonight Show was groundbreaking because there wasn't anything like it on ever before. And then
Yes.
Carson came on and just added like fucking whatever it was that Doc Brown threw in the furnace of the train in Back to the Future 3. That's what
Right.
Carson did to the Tonight Show. And it just became
Okay, so let
an
me ask you this, though. If
iconic
you're
platform.
gonna make
But see now,
a-
I was going to say, Letterman comes along
right.
and turns all that on its fucking head.
Yeah,
It
and
says,
that's what I was
okay,
going to say. Like,
yeah,
okay, if you made this list every year, yes, Carson would have been on it for eons.
oh yeah,
At some point, you have to give Letterman credit because he did. He did. He threw the whole concept out and started all over again.
oh yeah, completely
And
redefined
fresh.
it.
Yeah.
Entertaining.
Especially that era, everybody, the fucking snark sold. And that guy had it in spades.
Fucking Right?
Yeah, I mean, unless it was like Warren Zevon, he acted like he didn't give a shit if the person was going to be there or not. You know, he's like, I'm here,
Yeah,
and I'll ask you a question, and then just get out. We're having too
yeah.
much fun.
Like, hey, are you done? All right, drive safe now. Hey, Paul, you know this guy?
Right. Okay, so this was an interesting one. So at 43, they had Insecure, which was a recent HBO show.
I've
It
never
had
heard
five
of it.
seasons, and again, I don't know. Did you see Insecure?
No,
Okay, I they recommend it, highly recommend it.
really.
Anne Merrill actually turned me on to it. She recommended it to me several years ago, and I loved it. It was an interesting portrayal of black women being friends, like in their late 20s, early 30s. So again, it's not something I would have been exposed to during my life and thought, oh, this is so cliche. It was all
Mm-hmm.
new, and it was funny, and it was interesting, and um, I think it lasted just long enough. You know, they took a slice, 5 seasons, looked at these girls' lives or women's lives, and then got out. So it didn't
Nice.
drag on. They didn't get old. They didn't do Friends, where it just turns into a
Oh
parody of
my
itself.
god.
It was a solid show. So yeah, 43, fine. I have issues on the front end of this discussion with some of the shows they picked, but Insecure is an excellent show. I recommend it to
Yep.
everybody, and it's a good spot for it at 43.
Right on. I'll check it out.
Yeah, that's super good. Um, what was 42? Oh, the reboot Battlestar Galactica.
Uh, I watched the first 2 episodes,
Yeah,
and it just didn't take.
really?
Yeah, I mean, I really wanted it to. I really wanted to because I was like, "Fucking Battlestar's back! Yeah, Galactica, go!" Edward James Olmos, great to see him getting work, but fuck, for some reason I'm like, it's just not grabbing me. I don't know if it was just. I can't remember. I'm just like this. Yeah, this isn't. I don't know if the notes they were trying to hit were too loud, and it didn't hit in my ear correctly as they had hoped.
Yes, the thematically it was
Mm,
heavy-handed.
yeah,
And again, this was '03. So were you still over in Germany?
yeah,
Okay, so yeah, it was a lot. It was heavy religion, heavy politics,
yeah.
with some
And I
space
think that,
battles.
yeah, it's like it's like the Bible in space. I don't need this. Like,
But like you hit on, man, fantastic cast, fantastic
mm,
cast.
mm-hmm,
Um, and oddly enough, similar to what you were talking about, what's her name? Mary McDonnell is like the Secretary of Education. So when in the future
yeah,
they get blown all to hell, all of a sudden, humanity is on basically the ark trying to get out of town, and she's
yeah,
president.
right.
Yeah.
Actually, it's funny when Designated Survivor came out. I actually thought of that. I'm like, oh wow, okay, yeah.
Right. So
This is like the
enjoyed it.
non-sci-fi version of this.
Yeah, it is heavy-handed sometimes, but I liked it. I especially liked the ship battles that they would do, because
Yeah,
as far as you can get with sci-fi, I thought they were very realistic in that they showed the speed and they showed no noise. So it was just like quiet little ships flying around outside. Like, okay, this is how it actually should be
as it
filmed.
would be. Yeah.
Right. Instead of the whoosh, 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 whoosh of stuff flying
Pew
around.
pew pew.
Yes. Okay, so above Battlestar Galactica, above West Wing, we have number 41, Jack Horseman. An excellent
Um,
Netflix show. It lasted like 5 or 6 years, I think. So
yeah.
you did watch this, right?
I've seen again, it kind of like Battlestar Galactica. I watched the first several episodes. I think I watched a few more episodes of BoJack Horseman than I did Battlestar, but because they're shorter, and I may have fallen asleep. But yeah, again, didn't grab me, which
Really?
I was really surprised because everything about the show feels like it was kind of written at me.
I was going to say, Jesus Christ is practically a documentary.
Right? Maybe it was too. Maybe it was too close to home. I felt threatened.
Is that it? Fuck these guys. I don't look like that.
I don't have a horse face. Certainly not hung like one. Fuckers. Just rubbing it in.
it. I'll tell you what. For an animated show and one that spends a lot of time spoofing the entertainment industry,
Yeah.
this hit a lot of really, really heavy topics too over the course of 5 years. And I recommend it to people, but I warned them too. Like the first half of the season one is going to be kitschy and it's going to be fun, and BoJack's a fun drunk. It's fun to watch him wreck his car and get pulled over and stuff like that. I'm like, but then the shit gets dark and they go into his mom issues and all of this weird like.
Huh.
He was just me tooing before it was a thing. So it's
Maybe that's. Maybe I didn't give it long enough of a chance.
I recommend it. And again, I you're probably not looking for more stuff to watch right now, but give it another shot.
Yeah. Right.
It's worth it. I'd say out of all of the animated shows that have come out in the past decade, I'd say BoJack's probably in the top three.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
Damn.
solid. And plus the cast, I mean, it's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
But that's
I will give that another look because I think I may have bailed too early.
I think so. And again, like of all the people I know, I think it probably would have struck a chord with you.
Alrighty then.
Yeah. So number 40,
Hey,
The Good Place.
I really like the show,
Same.
and I'm not sure why because it's not. I think because it was a spoof of heaven. At the end, like the demons were in charge. I like that red herring at like at the end of the end of the run.
They
Was
did
like,
it every season too. Like there's a huge twist every fucking year. It was great. It was so much fun.
And again, Ted Danson kind of plays Ted Danson in everything he is, but he was really good at playing Ted Danson in this.
Yes. Yeah, fantastic cast too. I mean,
it was just
so fun.
Great cast, really good writing, very clever.
Yes.
I think a very original idea, and I was happy that for as never I forget how many seasons there were, but it never got old. It never got like trite or they're rehashing this. This is no. It seemed always very fresh and original.
Yes, absolutely. It was so fun. And when you look at all the shows I watched throughout the course of a year, this one stuck out because it was so clean and wholesome and good.
Yeah.
It was like nothing else I was watching. But I don't know, it was fun. I agree. I like watching Ted Danson be Ted Danson.
He's good at it.
It was lighthearted, and it was like just sci-fi enough. There was just that hint of weird going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I agree. And 40 is a good spot for it. It's not earth-shattering by any means. It was a strange twist.
I'd give it, I mean, it was a very original twist and a very original take, on that world that is the afterlife. And then to get to the end of the whole run of the show, it was great. I mean, it was wrapped. That last season was phenomenal, which is it was crazy. Yeah, so overall, as a full body of work, absolutely belongs on this list just for originality and execution alone.
I couldn't have said it better myself. Okay, now speaking of funny ass shows, number 39, Curb Your Enthusiasm.
As much as I want to say I've watched it all, and I have not. I've seen a handful of episodes, and I've enjoyed every single one of them. And for some reason, I don't know why I don't consistently go back to this.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I have 39, sure.
Yeah.
Very funny.
Solid. Again, amazing writing.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't think I've seen every single episode, but I think the problem with it is it's hard to binge. Because it's so cringy that you can't sit for 2 hours and soak up that much cringe.
Right, and that's that's what separates this from Seinfeld. So you can binge Seinfeld for the most part. Certain seasons of Seinfeld you can binge. This is Seinfeld on steroids.
Yes.
But again, obviously, Larry David, you've got that brilliant, that genius writing, that pacing, the dialogue is so just organic. Everything about it is just so spot on and real. And that's, I think, why you can't binge this is because it's like, oh my God, my heart. This is stop reading my mind. You're saying the things I'm thinking.
What I love about the character is if he was just slightly less of an asshole, you could be so sympathetic for him.
Right. Oh my God. And I think that's, again, the genius is that's on purpose. You don't.
Yes.
He doesn't want the world to like this guy like that.
He's awful.
The embodiment of all that's wrong. And I think it's just one of those. Yeah, this seems like nice. It's like a Tootsie Pop. It's like, yeah, it's candy on the outside, but at the center, it's a fucking Tootsie Roll. Who wants that?
I thoroughly enjoy that show. And again, high 30s. That's not a bad spot. But according to their 46 people that put this together, Hill Street Blues is slightly better than that.
Again, I think Hill Street Blues was one of those, not necessarily groundbreaking, but it was like the next phase of the tried and true cop show. It was the next phase of that genre. It was gritty, and you had the guy with had the fingerless gloves and the cap, and he would spit and call you dog breath.
That's gritty.
Carl Malden never did that.
What I remember about this show when it was on in early mid 80s, was that fucking jarring, shaky camera that they used in that.
Yeah.
Like that.
I forgot about that. That Blair Witch bullshit.
That documentary style filming, the guerrilla tactics. But again, a solid show. I remember watching it. I don't think it left any visible or hidden scars. I don't think I would go back and watch it, but it was there. It was very good. Yeah. I kind of remember it. It got like a shitload of Emmys when it was on, and then it was there, not there anymore.
Yeah, I mean, brilliantly written. Again, fantastically acted. Great cast. Great writers. This seems a little high on the list for me.
Okay, and again, with as long as television has been a thing, I think you could have picked better representation of the police shows.
Right. This isn't better than Columbo.
No, no, you're right. I'd put Columbo higher than this.
Yeah.
That's fair. Okay. So the next one I sort of have an issue with, actually.
Shit, I'd put Adam 12 above that.
Oh my god. Okay. Naked Gun, yes.
Well, absolutely.
But no, that's not on the list because Rolling Stones.
We'll address that next session on what's not on 25 to number 1.
No. So number 37 is Arrested Development.
I think it deserves to be on the list. I don't know if 37. I mean, I could swap that with Jeopardy.
Okay.
Only
so
thing Go ahead.
My take, if the Netflix reboot never happened, I'd put this in top 20. If you
See, I never watched the Netflix reboot. I never saw the Netflix reboot.
Right.
I didn't do it.
Don't.
I know.
I unrecommend. Just, the original run on Fox, I thought was brilliant.
It's great.
Just brilliant. Amazing cast, great writing. Just all of it was so good. I love that the single camera shots that they did was just awesome. Okay,
so well done. It was masterful.
It kind of had a bow tie at the end too. They sort of wrapped everything up.
Yeah,
and then Netflix in the dead of night digs up Grandma and tries to throw her on the slab and bring her back to life again.
Plays Bride of the Reanimator 4.
Right. So if you include the Netflix run, I'd say it is not a top 50 show. If it's purely the was it Fox? Yeah, I was right. It was.
Yeah.
If you just base it on Fox, absolutely amazing comedy.
Agree. Fuck Netflix.
Yeah. They give us BoJack, then on the other hand, they give us this shit.
Yeah.
But I digress. Okay. So I have no problem with the next one. Number 36, I Love Lucy.
Absolutely one of the best shows of all time. My only issue with this is that it's at 36 and not higher.
Yeah. And again, though, I mean, with as much content that's out there,
right.
If this list came out 20 years ago, top 10.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Top 25, maybe. 10 years
okay,
ago.
I'll give you that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's still acknowledge its importance.
Yeah.
You definitely, it was funny. It was well done. It was cutting edge for the time.
Oh, yeah.
And, I mean, the cultural significance, absolutely.
Without a doubt. Again, it was just such a brilliantly funny show. So clever. It's still funny today. And that's the thing. That's how I judge a lot of these older shows, especially the black and whites.
Yeah.
It's still funny today. And again, Lucille Ball was a comedic genius. Well before her time, groundbreaking comedian.
Yep.
And really the grandmother of the mother of sci-fi.
Right.
With Desilu Studios, there would have without Lucille Ball, there wouldn't have been a Star Trek.
There's Star Trek, yeah. So she deserves all the accolades. So yeah, to hit low middles, fine. For for a show that ended in 1957, absolutely she belongs on this list.
It's crazy.
Yes. So here's another one that I thought was an odd pick that I had to think about. Number 35, they put Lost.
Absolutely not.
Really?
That if there was a list for I don't know, fucking Lost just pissed me off.
Yeah, but it was really good at it. I mean, okay, except for
It was. It was good at it. Oh yeah. Well, I called the ending on episode 3, season 1. And Sarah can attest to it. I'm like, fuck this. They're all dead. This is a dream.
But and again, thinking back as I was reading through this list, the one thing I remember about Lost is that at the time everybody was talking about Lost.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That everybody watched that fucking show.
Yep. They hung on it, and it was again.
So
as far as a cultural phenomenon goes, yeah, it deserves placement on the list. If we're looking at anything else that would be considered good television, no. It was fucking clickbait before clickbait was a thing.
I'll tell you what. If was this an ABC? Yeah, it was ABC. So if they had said from the outset, this is going to last 3 years,
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the third year, we're never adding on another season. Wrap your story up. I bet it would have been amazing.
I agree.
But with American television, they have to write it assuming that you may or may not get canceled week to week. So,
right. It's so absurd. I really wish American industry would adopt a more like British.
Yeah, absolutely.
Construct.
Don't drag it out until it's not making money.
No.
Just have a finite end. And I think this is a miniseries that just went on far too long.
Far too long. It should have ended when the light went on at the hatch, if not a season before that.
All right, that's fair. Okay. So,
I got to admit that was kind of cool.
I disagree with this one wholeheartedly, but number 34, the U.S. version of The Office.
All right, why do you disagree with it?
I don't like the show.
I don't either. I think it's crap.
Yes. So, and what's funny is when we were back in the office, I worked with a lot of younger people.
Yeah.
And they were watching it for the first or second time. They didn't watch it live, but they could watch it for 12 hours at a time on Netflix or where I think it was on Netflix at the time. And they ate the shit up. They thought it was the best thing ever. Yeah, people, again, like in their late 20s, were quoting The Office to me. I'm like, I haven't seen that shit on fucking, when was this? Yeah, like 2005 to 13. I'm like, I don't remember this fucking quote.
Right.
I can't.
A show I barely tolerated.
Yeah. So what I tell them is, I'm like, all right, start watching it again, but look at it as if it's a documentary about hostile workplaces or toxic places to work, and it ruins the show for them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know, like Steve Carell is like that guy in your friend group that you can tolerate for about 20 minutes.
Yeah, because he's trying
after that,
so
if you don't shut the fuck up, I'm going to choke you to death.
Yeah.
All right, maybe that's slightly dramatic.
He's
25 minutes.
Whoa, minutes. Okay.
So I don't know. He's funny to a point. I'm like,
yeah,
you have to stop.
Well, that's the thing. Again, I wanted to. The original UK version of The Office with Ricky Gervais, I found very funny.
Oh yeah.
The UK version, the original version of this idea is quite funny,
Yes.
but in a completely different way.
Yeah, you cannot make an American show that is that dark and get away with it. It would never survive. That's why they made Steve Carell's character more inept.
And that's what made it more hard to watch.
Yes, I agree with you.
Had it been, a not so inept, just I know I'm kind of fucking up, but I'm just kind of that whole I'm faking it till I make it sort of thing. I'm trying, everybody's, that's what made Ricky Gervais's character in the UK version less hateable.
Yes. That's a
Whereas
very good way to put it.
the Steve Carell character is like, well, you're just everything that's wrong with American
Yeah.
business.
It was a farce. I mean, again, like you watch the UK Office, and again, as
And
far as
it
sitcoms go, I could see all of those characters existing in an office,
yeah,
But
it's
here,
a
the
tough
US
watch.
version, yeah, and they're caricatures.
Yeah, it's like, oh, okay, you're this person, you fit in this hole, you fit in this one.
Yep.
Whereas, like, I don't know.
Yeah. So
The same thing, I guess, applies to the UK version, but it just seemed they were more, I guess, realistic.
yes, and
They
again, the
weren't.
UK version was like a tenth of the size of the US version.
Yeah, it was like 3 seasons done.
Yeah. So again,
Uh,
this has no place on the list. Be gone with you.
yeah,
Take
off.
friends with you.
Yeah, sorry, Sarah.
Okay, so number 33, Monty Python.
Absolutely, just delighted that this made the list. Because I think we've talked about this before. I discovered Monty Python as a youth, sneaking out of bed and going downstairs and watching PBS at 11:30 at night, because it came on after Benny Hill, and Benny Hill sometimes had, it always had those scantily clad
Yes.
women running around chasing the bald man.
Mm-hmm.
Loved it. And then Monty Python came on, and it was just so brilliantly absurd. And I always felt for the longest time that I was like in a secret club. That I know Monty Python. I know the Flying Circus. I know these guys. And it was cool. Like, and growing up and going into high school, and like other people have seen this. Oh, you know too. Ah, all right. Yes. Mm-hmm. And then for it to show
I
up.
think we talked about this when I was like in a linguistics class at OSU. And I interviewed you about folk speech. No, it was a folklore class. Yeah, because like all the theater people spoke in code. It's like you wouldn't carry on a conversation. You would just, it was like this call and response of Monty Python quotes.
An exchange of quotes from different movies, yeah.
And again, I think you hit it exactly. It's that secret club. It's like,
yeah,
it is the theater absurd. It's just, it's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so funny. It's so
brilliant and genius. And it was like, they were so, at the time, in your circle of in your bubble, like only a handful of people got it.
Right. Yes.
So you're like, yeah, you don't get it. I do.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I was so pleased as I was flipping through this, like just flipping the pages so angrily. I'm like, oh, okay. Yes. At 33, fine.
I'll take 33.
So, number 32 will be brief because you've never watched it. Better Call Saul.
True. Don't know.
So, yeah.
But I'm betting, like, it's... Go ahead.
It should be a lot higher, but...
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not going to do it, but I can go through here and probably pluck 10 shows out above this that it's better than.
Oh, all right. Yeah, I've never seen it, and I can do the same thing.
But just brilliant. Everybody should watch it, Tom especially. So, 31, however, is 8 seasons of Game of Thrones.
I'll give you 7 seasons of Game of Thrones.
That's fair.
7 seasons and maybe 3 episodes of 8.
Or what was it from Community? 6 in a movie.
6. A movie's coming, apparently. Word is a movie's coming.
Mm-hmm. But I agree with you that it was long in the dragon tooth.
It was wrapped up poorly. However, leading up to the final season, it was nothing but brilliant.
Yes.
Game of Thrones, I thought, was absolutely crazy. And it was, again, it's one of those things that, like, well, it wasn't easy to catch when it was on, when I was overseas.
Okay.
So once we got back, it was like, all right, we got to catch up. We got to figure this out. We got to watch this.
Right.
And it still hadn't ended yet. So got the HBO thing, got all caught up, and it was like we got back here in 2013, and I think season 8 was supposed to kick, or season 7, I think, was supposed to happen within that year or whatever. So it's like, all right, yeah. So we're all caught up. We're all good. God, what a great show. Fucking Jesus Christ. Season 8 happens. What the fuck?
When all right, so you draw that line. Like, here's where we had books to base it off of. Here's where we go off on our own.
Yeah, here's where we lose the source material.
Yes.
I would have much rather have waited a year or 10 to have this wrap up.
Yeah.
In the way that Martin wanted it to.
Yeah. But I think it the one good thing though is it opened up the wallets at HBO a little bit to allow them to, okay, right after this was Westworld, which I'm not going to fuck. That show got so bad so fast, but that first season was so good, and that probably never would have been made if it weren't for Game of Thrones.
I'm sure there's a lot of stuff that would have been done. I mean, I'm surprised, like Pennyworth. Have you watched Pennyworth?
No.
Oh, watch it. Oh, it's so much fucking fun. It's so much fun. You need to watch fucking Pennyworth.
All right, I'll tell you what. And I say this every 3 months. I will watch.
Oh, God damn it! Are you gonna watch?
But you have to go back and watch. Not starting with Better Call Saul.
I know.
Pretty bad.
Fuck.
Yes.
All right.
So yeah, I agree. I mean, Game of Thrones. It shouldn't have ended where it did, but it was still a solid show.
Yeah.
But one that was great until the very end, number 30, Parks and Recreation.
Absolutely loved it. It was one of the joys of coming back to the States and being able to watch in its entirety from start to finish.
Yes. So I loved the show when it was on. It was 2009 to 2015. And I started at the State in 2016. So my first boss there, we would sit around and we would talk about pop culture and stuff. He's a big he's a nerd, so which was great. So
yeah,
it's like, did you ever watch that show Parks and Rec? I'm like, oh yeah, I loved it. I was a 30 Rock guy, so that was just natural for me. And he's like, all right, watch it as an actual bureaucrat. I'm like, oh, completely different show. I mean,
oh yeah. Yeah, it's funny, but in a different way.
Yes, like this shit's so real,
right?
Yes.
It's like, wow, this is like dark humor.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
This isn't slapstick. This is real.
I don't like this anymore.
I know these people.
Yeah. Oh God, yes.
Yeah.
All right, so Rolling Stone will get no argument from me, but number 29, they picked Roots.
Was it a TV show? I mean,
it was a mini.
Hang on, before we get killed, this like transcends television. This actually, like Roots, is one of those things that like solidified. This is why TV exists.
Yes. Oh, and especially at the time.
Yeah.
1977 is when this came out.
Such a brilliant miniseries. Yep. Brilliantly written, brilliantly cast, brilliantly acted, executed, fantastic. I'm not sure why they felt the need to remake it. But yeah, this shouldn't even be on the list because it transcends any sort of top 20, 50 list of wherever. I mean, it should be like required viewing for humans. Yeah.
And I am also grateful that it got people reading too. You remember, and again,
Yeah,
you're super young, but I remember like going into stores and that 800-page copy of Roots was
yeah,
always in the front of all the book sections. So
yeah.
that's
Oh
that's
yeah,
fantastic to get people to pick up something like that and read it.
yeah.
So phenomenal, excellent choice. Good job, Rolling Stone. Finally.
Huzzah!
Um, I got nothing on this, but number 28, Friday Night Lights.
No idea.
Yeah, me neither.
I,
Okay.
I lived in Texas. I know they're crazy about high school football. They're for freaks. Can't imagine watching a TV show about it.
All right, enough said. 27, Deadwood.
I watched the first several episodes of this,
Oh my god, you're killing me.
really wanting to like it, and it just
It just
again
wasn't your thing?
it didn't take. I'm like, ugh.
Dude,
It
okay.
just didn't work for me. I don't know why. And I'd love
Tell you
to.
what, I'm a straight man, and I will sit and watch Timothy Oliphant read the Yellow Pages.
Right?
He's just, I don't know, there's something about this guy. I'm like, whatever he's doing is the most fascinating thing in the world. So,
I love him.
around killing people? Fuck yes, I'm in.
Okay. Well, that's the thing. Like I saw, Santa Clarita Diet
Yeah.
with him and
Fantastic show, yeah.
fucking brilliant, great show. Like why? Like, I'm talking like why isn't he in everything?
Yes.
Like he and Alan Tudyk should just take over the fucking industry.
Right.
They would just be brilliant.
Oh god! Oh, there's such a great show. The follow up movie they did didn't do anything for me.
Yeah,
That was what, just a couple of years ago, wasn't it? Yeah.
yeah. Because Deadwood had been off for a while, and I remember there was a big hype about the movie. I'm like, oh,
Yep.
this,
Yeah,
I really should.
2019. So it was 3 years ago. After the show was 2004 to 2006. So yeah, we didn't need it. I mean, I don't. It was stale by then, I guess, is the best way to put
Yeah.
it. Just, it run its course. And again, we've consumed so much since then that it's hard to go back.
Yeah,
It was such a great show, though. So good. I mean, yes, there have been westerns on since TV started.
Mhm.
You could smell how bad the town smelled through the TV.
Oh yeah.
So
I mean, it was brilliantly done and visually just stellar.
mm-hmm.
I don't know why.
Huh. Maybe that'd be a good one to try again. Again, that was so long ago.
No, this was like this was like last month.
Oh fuck. Okay, never mind then.
So I was like, oh, because I saw it on the list. I'm like, Deadwood. I should look at that
Well,
because it has that Timothy fellow I like so much.
Yes, that fine young man. All right, so going from Deadwood to number 26, Sesame Street.
Sunny day, sweeping the clouds away.
Absolutely should be on the list, and that's a good spot for it, halfway in.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been alive. It's been on the air for as long as I've been alive.
Yeah, it started on PBS in 1969.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And how does it work? Like, I mean, you don't have any younger kids either, but is it still on PBS and HBO, or is it just HBO now?
I don't know. I want to say it's still on PBS,
Good. Okay.
but I think that there's. I don't know if HBO does like specials or it's.
Yeah.
'Cause I can't imagine it not being on PBS.
Right, and that's
That'd be a subscription-based-
classism to say, here's the best show ever created to help out preschoolers. Oh,
Yeah.
but we're gonna stuck it behind this $15 a month
Yeah.
channel that you have to pay $80 a month with cable to get to.
Right.
Sesame
Yeah, no.
Street, it should be out there for every single child in the world.
Yeah, and I'm not sure what the deal
every
is.
language, every day.
Yeah, that and Mr. Rogers.
Yeah.
Which,
Oh yeah.
spoiler alert, is not on the fucking list at all.
But again, it's same thing with cop shows, man. You've got 50 slots. I don't think you can dedicate more than one to kids shows.
You can't not omit
All right,
Mr.
so
fucking Rogers. Sorry.
I agree.
I'll save my ire till next time.
Yeah, there's so much meat there. So on Peacock right now, there's this documentary about Barney the dinosaur called "I Love You, You Hate Me."
Yeah.
It's fascinating. But they have the guy that played Steve on Blue's Clues. They interview him as part of the
Yeah.
documentary, and he brings up this very valid point. He says, you know, Barney was so pure that it's just in human nature to want to tear him down.
Right.
He says when you compare it to characters on Sesame Street, and he pointed out, it's like Bert. Bert was broken. Grover,
Yeah.
there was something wrong with Grover. He was broken. You know, these characters, they were
all flawed.
Yes, they were absolutely flawed,
and that's what made those fucking puppets relatable.
Yes, they were pieces of felt being manipulated by a puppeteer, but they felt so real because there was depth to them.
Yeah.
And
they weren't perfect.
It, like at that age when you're 4 or 5 or 6, I guess like 3, 4, and 5, right? It's probably closer. You know, those characters are probably your first friends.
Yeah, the first insight is into the first time you see somebody asking the questions that you have in your head.
Yes.
It's like, oh, you don't know that either.
Right.
Well, I'm not dumb. I'm not alone. We both don't know that, so okay, it's not unusual that I don't know things.
Right.
Or I get frustrated or angry or upset that something happens.
Yeah, absolutely. So yes, that
Sesame Street was brilliant. So brilliant.
So good. Okay, and
the way they dealt with Mr. Hooper dying, holy shit.
The book was so much better.
Oh, you damn your eyes! It was not. You can't see Big Bird cry in a book.
Oh fuck! I got through it all in one episode, like half the list. I didn't think we were going to be.
I was worried.
Yeah, we're good at this. So we'll come back in a couple of weeks, do 25 to 1, and then we will squeeze in a Christmas special for everybody because we love you so much.
Yeah, our gift to you.
Yeah, and I think that, and then January brings us up to 3 years worth of programming.
Oh. Damn.
Right? Yeah, because in my little Facebook memories, 3 years ago was the Bob Dylan concert.
Yeah, November 4th.
Yeah, then we kicked the show off right after that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So we head into our 4th year in a couple months.
Woohoo! Who'd have thought?
We've learned and taught nothing, and I am so proud of us.
And thank you for joining us on this road to nowhere.
But we did run long, and we'll talk to you soon. So
right.
I have nothing of importance to say to you, so I'll just bid you adieu.
Ciao for now.